Kevin is now going to do his predictions. I don't even know. I don't remember what they are, but anyway. Okay.
All right. So I can't just start. So I can't just jump right into the predictions. So because that wouldn't make any sense. Because Jennifer would be asking me, well, what? I don't understand who's playing. So I have to explain that. So basically, in the NFL, there's two conferences, 4 divisions in each conference, and for the playoffs, in each conference, you have the 4 division winners, right? And then 3 wildcard teams. So the division winner with the best record doesn't have to play in this first weekend. The other 3 division winners each play a home game against one of the wildcard teams. So there's basically 6 games this weekend, 3 in the AFC and 3 in the NFC. So I'm going to just make predictions just so we can have them on the record, even though this is the first and terrible podcast of Kevin MannSplains everything. So we're going to start off in the AFC, where the Patriots play, the New England Patriots that we hate. We won't start with them, but let me show you the chart here. So basically, you got the Tennessee Titans. They had the best record, so they have a bye this weekend. They don't have to play. And then the other 3 division winners were the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the Cincinnati Bengals. So those 3 division winners will play these games at home, right? So the second best record was the Chiefs, so they're the number 2 seed. They're going to play the team with the worst record that got in, which is the Steelers, the number 17. Then the Bills were the the 3rd best record, so they're going to play the 6th best record. And the Bengals with the 4th best record are going to play the Raiders with the 5th best record. So we don't want to start with the Bills and the Patriots because that's the one that we care about most. We really, 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 really want the Bills to win because we hate the Patriots and all we care about is that they lose somehow. But we're going to start off with the Chiefs up here against the Steelers. It's a tough game. The Chiefs should win comfortably. But the problem is that the Chiefs have played great some weeks this year and terrible some weeks this year. And you don't know which team you're going to see on any given Sunday or Saturday or whatever day they're playing. So, but the problem is that the Steelers just are bad. They're bad even when they win. So, I mean, they might have had a couple convincing wins this year, but all the rest of them were games that, they probably should have lost, or they were just playing another team that was just, like last week, they played the Baltimore Ravens, who have just imploded. And they just barely, I think they beat them in overtime. So it's not like they really convincingly got themselves into the playoffs. They just kind of backed into the playoffs. So they're very lucky to be there. So anyway, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Steelers win, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think that I just don't think they can score. So I think that they might score probably a touchdown on a Kansas City turnover because Kansas City's turning the ball over all the time. And then they might get one of their own, and they might get a field goal. So they might get 17 points or so. And I think that Kansas City's just going to find a way to, even though they'll be sloppy and everything, they'll have enough good drives. They're just talented enough to run away with this. So I'm going to go the Chiefs.
Wait, can you just explain the numbers? I have no idea what those numbers
are. Oh, so these are the numbers. Okay, sorry about that. So the Chiefs are favored, right? But if you want to bet on it, they're giving up 12.5 points. So if you bet on the Chiefs in Las Vegas, you've got to beat the Steelers by 12.5. And I don't think they're going to cover that number, to tell you the truth. I'm going to say that the Chiefs are going to win this game. So I go Chiefs, and I'm going to call it 31-20. So there are 2 numbers here. There's 12.5. That's how many points that the Chiefs have to give up. Not in, they only have to beat Pittsburgh by 1 in the real world, right, to move on to next week. But in Vegas, if you're betting money on it, If you want to win money, they've got to win by 12.5 points. This number, 46, is what Vegas calls the over-under number. So do you think they're going to, both teams combined, are they going to score more than 46 or less than 46? And you can bet that. You can bet anything you want. But this is a very popular bet that people like to bet the over-under. So according to me, they're going to be over. So I'm going to say 31-20 and go with the over. I wouldn't be
so it's like 51.
51, yeah.
Right.
So I'm saying the Chiefs are going to win 31-20, and it's going to be over. The next game is the Raiders and the Bengals. Again, the Bengals are favored by 5. The Raiders just barely got in because the Indianapolis Colts just choked, the most major choke of the year, allowed the Raiders to get into the playoffs at all. And I think, was it the Raiders the last team in? No, the Steelers were the last team in. But whatever, they also backed in, but probably not as much as the Steelers. So the Bengals are favored by 5. The Bengals, again, are another team that look great one week, crappy the next week. The Raiders are exactly the same. They look great one week, crappy the next week. I'm just going to go with the Bengals because they're at home. They're playing in Cincinnati. There's always a little bit of a home field advantage. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these teams wins. But there's something about the Bengals quarterback that I really like. He's just got a certain kind of it factor. Like the Raiders, they've got a good quarterback, David Carr, but it's always like, when's he going to lose his job? That's really the question. When are they going to get a replacement for David Carr? Joe Burrow, basically, I think, is going to be in Cincinnati for 20 years, playing pretty high-level football. He won a championship at LSU. He's just got something. He never quits. Just like the game's never over in get that guy's brain.
But you're going against Las Vegas on both of these games, the Steelers, Chiefs, and Raiders, Bengals. You're going against the betting, right? Because you said the Chiefs before, and now the Bengals. Is that right?
Well, no, the Chiefs and the Bengals are both favored. They're giving points. They're not getting points. So the Chiefs are favored to beat the Steelers by 12.5 points. And the Bengals are favored to beat the Raiders by 5 points.
Okay, so then you agree with the Las Vegas line so far?
I'm at this point, I'm saying, if you were going to make me bet on these games, which neither one of these games would I bet on, but if I had to bet on them, I'd go with the Bengals. I don't know if I'd lay the 5. I think it's going to be more something like, Bengals 23-20. Right?
Right.
I think Burrow's not going to do a lot, but he's going to do just enough to beat the Raiders. I wouldn't be surprised if he has to come down and win it in the last series of the game. So I would trust him with that. And so I'm going with the under here.
So you're agreeing that it will be less than 48.5.
I think it's going to be, that's not agreeing, that's just saying what I think. It'll be less.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so we're going to skip the Bills and the Patriots. We're going to flip around to the NFC. In the NFC, you've got Green Bay had the best record. So they have a bye. And then you have the Eagles and the Buccaneers. This is Tom Brady's team. And they're giving up 9 points. So the Bucs are favored by 9. Then you've got the Cowboys against the 49ers. Cowboys are favored by 3. And you have the Rams against the Cards, and the Rams are favored by 4. So, the Bucs and the Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been so kind of inconsistent this year. They don't look like a Super Bowl champion. The big problem with Tampa Bay is they have a great quarterback and a stupid coach. So, they're always fighting, their coach's instincts. He doesn't adapt. I don't know. He's a moron. But their quarterback is the best quarterback that's ever played. So, they kind of get through. They're 13-4 this year. It's been an ugly 13-4. could easily be, 10-7. But I'm going to go with them anyway. So I'm going to go with the Bucks because just not going to. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to bet against Brady in the first week of the playoffs when he's playing at home against a really bad team. But so I'm going to go with the Bucks. They always seem to score 30 no matter what. So I'm going to say they're going to win 30-17. And so that gives me the over. All right. Then you got the 49ers and the Cowboys. Again, I mean, the 49ers have been really decimated by injuries and stuff. I think they've been a more consistent team, not a better team, but a more consistent team through the year. They've just struggled all year. The Cowboys are just up and down. You never know what you're going to get from the Cowboys. They'll either beat you or beat themselves. That's kind of what they do. And I can't stand the Cowboys, so I'm just going to say they're going to beat themselves this week, and I'm going to go with the 49ers.
So is that an emotional pick, or is that like an analytical pick?
Well, no, I mean, I hate them, but I mean, they're a stupid team.
All right.
So I just think they're going to beat themselves. I don't think San Francisco is going to beat them. I think they're going to beat themselves. They'll find some way to lose this game. And, Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers quarterback, finds a lot of ways to lose games too. But I'm going to go with him this week. I wouldn't count on him for over the long run. And the Cowboys very well might win, but they're going to lose somewhere along the way because they're going to beat themselves somewhere along the way. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to be this week.
But this is one where you're going against the betting pool, the betting line, right?
Yeah, well, I'm going against the favorite.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the 49ers, and I'll say this is going to be, let's call it. I'm going to call it 27-23. All right, and so that's going to be under. All right, and then you got the Rams and the Cards, and the Cardinals, as usual, started off the season super hot. They were in control of the entire conference, and I think they were like 10-2, and then they ended up 11-6 or something like that, because they just imploded. And that's kind of what their history is. They have great beginning of the year, and then they kind of fall apart at the end of the year. I don't see them. I mean, they could beat the Rams. This is a pretty tight game. The Rams, they've got Matt Stafford, who can be the greatest quarterback ever. One series and just kind of a mundane, kind of boring quarterback. That's what I find with Stafford is that he just plays. Even when he was with the Lions, you'd watch them a couple drives, and you're like, oh my God, this team is really going to be something. Every game, they did the same thing. Every game, they'd have great drives. And then they just have, like, drives where they just didn't seem like they wanted to be out on the field. Let's get our 3 downs and out, And Matt Stafford is, I don't know. I just find him not to be focused enough. But I'm going to... This is a close one, too. I would naturally say the Rams are going to win. I think they have a better team. But, yeah, I'm not totally positive about the Rams and the Cards because they're both just... I think the Rams are going to win this game. And I think they're going to win it handily. So I'm going to say 33-20. They're going to look great and then lose next week.
So they'll be over.
Yeah, and they'll be over. So I have a feeling the Rams, they have one. I think they'll look great, destroy the Cardinals, and then everybody's going to jump on the Rams bandwagon, and then they'll lose to whoever they play next week. Well, they're going to play Green Bay next week, so if they win, and so then they'll get beat by Green Bay. So that's where I am here. So I say they're going to cover. They're going to cover. These guys are definitely going to cover. the Bucks are going to cover. And then finally, our last game is a game that wouldn't surprise me if Buffalo won it 33-7. It's going to be miserably cold in Buffalo. It's going to be below zero for this game. So this
Isn't
is
that
one,
their thing?
Huh?
Isn't that their thing?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's anybody's thing to be playing in negative numbers. So, so they're going to be playing in sub-zero temperatures. I think the Patriots have a much better running game than Buffalo. So, that could be a big problem if you really just can't throw the ball. It's just too cold and you can't really, throw the ball very well. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo won at 33-7. I think they're a much more talented team. But I think their quarterback is really mercurial. He's either great or horrifying. And he can be both of those things in the same game. Well, what I think is going to happen in this game is I think the Patriots are going to score 14 points off of Buffalo turnovers and miscues. And they'll score 2 field goals on their own. And I think they're going to beat Buffalo. And we say it's going to be the Patriots beat Buffalo 20-17. And I pray with all my heart that I'm wrong. 20-17, so they're going to be under. And those are my wild card weekend predictions. But this will probably be what happens. And then we'll see what happens next week. All right, and if I'm not right on every one of these, then I'm going to quit doing this.
Yeah, so we'll post this video, and then after it, we'll do another video where I basically ask you why you're so stupid.
Yeah, there you go. But, the funny thing is like, I think that...
Because if you're right about this, I don't want to hear about it.
I think it would be interesting if we do that, and then we, grab some highlights.
Yeah.
And we can talk about, the things I said about some of these guys. It's like, I think that, it's a quarterback-driven league, and, the things that the quarterbacks do are really important, So, I think they will be the deciding force in most of these games. Which quarterback plays the best and makes the fewest mistakes, turns the ball over the least, and goes down and wins the game under pressure.
Well, let's just do like a quick recap of all your picks, just very quickly.
All right, so we got the Chiefs over the Steelers, which I think is everybody's picking. Again, I wouldn't be surprised because if they don't win, even though I'm picking them to win, because Pat Mahomes is one thing that great quarterbacks do. Now, Pat Mahomes has always been had a real ability to escape the pocket, run around, extend the play. But when Kansas City was great, he was doing that, every once in a while. But for the most part, he was dropping back, throwing the ball out on schedule. And if he's not dropping back and throwing the ball out on schedule, he's, then things get a little bit dicey. He can make great plays or he can make, bad plays. And he's made a lot more bad plays that way this year. Like, teams kind of have come on to him. He's not really patient, And you can, like, if you watch this year, when he just says, okay, screw it, they're not going to give me these things. I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to do all my short throws. They're giving me all this short field. He's been great, but when he's decided, when he just loses his patience and he wants to go for the bomb, he wants it all right now. Even guys that are as great as Mahomes they're gonna have trouble. So we'll see what happens with that. But
see, now I've already forgotten what your pick was for that game.
Well, I picked the Chiefs because I think I picked the Chiefs, and I picked them to kind of win comfortably. They won't cover. They won't cover that 12.5 point spread, I don't think. Just because the Steelers don't have anything. Of all the teams in here, I think the Steelers have the least chance. I'd be the most surprised if they won. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because Kansas City's looked so bad, but I'd be the most surprised because I think even as bad as the Chiefs have looked this year at different times, the Steelers just have not looked good at all.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
Chiefs are the biggest underdog this weekend. Is that what you're saying?
The Steelers are the biggest underdog.
Steelers are the biggest. Sorry, Steelers are the biggest underdog.
Yeah. And the thing is, if the Steelers play a good game and beat Kansas City, it'll be the first good game they've played this year.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I don't think. I mean, they've won. I guess they're 9-7-1. They tied the Detroit Lions. So Pittsburgh tied the Detroit Lions, the worst team in the league. So
Bet on the Chiefs. Everything on the
yeah,
Chiefs.
all your money on the Chiefs. Yeah. So then you got the Patriots and the Bills. I'm taking the Patriots basically just because I hate them so much that I'm going to pick them to win, so I have some reason to feel good about if they win. If they lose, if Buffalo beats them, I could care less who I picked. It's all good. It's all gravy for me. So, and I think that the Bills quarterback can be great, but he has a real propensity to make bad plays, and we'll see what happens with that. Somewhere along the line in these playoffs, he's going to lose the game, I think. Although he also will win the games too, but there will be games where he's just so bad that they lose. Then I picked the Bengals over the Raiders, and I think what's going to be a tight game. I don't think either one of these teams is very good. And I don't think either one of them is good enough to blow the other one out, really, or be blown out. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I'll go with the Bengals because I like their quarterback. Then you got in the NFC, you got the Tom Brady's. I'm taking them over to Philadelphia. I mean, yeah, the two Pennsylvania teams are really bad in the playoffs, the Eagles and the Steelers. I haven't really seen much out of either one of them. So again, the Bucs, even though they haven't really looked that great this year for a team that's 13-4, the Eagles haven't looked good at all against anybody. So I just don't. They, again, like Pittsburgh, if they play a good game, it'll be the first time they did it all year. Cowboys and the 49ers, I think, is a tight game. I think the 49ers got a really good pass rush, some really good pass rushers that I think might get Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback, a little flustered. And if they can get the Cowboys flustered, then I think the Cowboys are done because they get real dumb real quick. Their coach is just, he's won Super Bowls, but I think his quarterbacks won him Super Bowls. He had great quarterbacks, so they won him a Super Bowl. He couldn't even keep his job in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. You got to be a bad coach not to be able to keep your job in Green Bay. So, and then the Rams and the Cards. I'm just going to go with the Rams because the Cards, the Rams can look pedestrian at times, but the Cards can just look awful, and they kind of blew this whole year. And so that's why I'm going to go with the Rams and Matt Stafford, another guy that's going to lose a game along the way.
All right.
And those are my picks.
Awesome. We have your picks. And so these games will happen this weekend?
Yep. Two of them are today. Today you got the Bills and the Patriots are playing, and the Raiders and the Bengals are playing.
But there are no scores yet. You weren't just cheating on your phone.
Yeah, no
before.
scores yet. No scores yet because it's 10-2, and the games start at the first game is at 4:30, I think, and then the second game is at 8. So now they're only playing Buffalo. It's sub-zero. They're playing at night.
Now,
Sub-zero.
So which game do you think I would enjoy the most, having no interest whatsoever in any of them?
I don't know. Probably the Bills and the Patriots, just because of the weather conditions.
Yeah, I like seeing people stuff.
It's going to be cold. Yeah, there'll be some suffering people there.
And what time is that game?
That's tonight. At 8 or 8:30.
Okay, people, audience. So after this one, and Kevin's wrong on everything, next week's podcast, he will be cheating on his phone because I don't follow this stuff. He'll have this podcast.
So I'm gonna leave the magic board here with Max, so I can't change it.
Yeah.
I could walk away and
it's
Max would
all
not.
on the
It's
video.
all on the video.
Yeah, you can take it with you.
Burn the video down.
I got the record right here.
But I mean, the funny thing is I can't be totally wrong because every game I said I wouldn't be surprised if they lose.
No, we're not putting. No. There's none of that hedging crap. You've made your picks. Remember, this is editing. I can just cut out everything, but I picked this.
Well, we just have to remember that we're praying that I'm wrong at least one game. We're praying that I'm wrong on the Patriots and the Bills. So I'm rooting hard for Josh Allen to prove me wrong tonight and he can be one of those quarterbacks that wins the game all by himself.
All
And
right.
he can be one of those quarterbacks that lose the game all by himself.
All right, we're at 25 minutes. Alexander McCurse has nothing on you. Let me
That's
tell
right.
you. I was just showing him this really boring video. He's like, "Oh, I could do that. I could watch that." I'm like, we just created
participated one.
the sports equivalent to that geopolitical thing.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
I just very informatively mansplained everything.
Yeah.
All right.
You did mansplain. That was a
Shut
good
it off
mansplaining.
now. We're done. Talk to you in a couple days.
Yeah.